Hi, Percy. The Fat Controller's given me a real special.
What's that, Thomas?
It's fireworks for the opening celebration of the Sodor Search and Rescue Searchlight. Victor's in charge of a massive fireworks display.
Wow, that's a long way from here.
Yes, Percy. It's a long way away, but I'll see all the sights of Sodor along the way.
Be very careful, Thomas. You'll have to go over the Shake Bridge with all those dangerous fireworks. Slightest bump and you could be blown to smithereens.
Don't worry, Percy. I'm an expert at hauling dangerous goods. I better be off or I'll be late.
There's something not quite right about Thomas. He just doesn't seem to be his usual self. Yeah, enjoy your little trip, Thomas. Bon voyage.
Yep, this is a real adventure. First place I go through is Arthur of the Copper Mine. He'll be so pleased to see me. Hi, Arthur. Sorry I can't stop. I'm loaded with fireworks.
There's something different about Thomas, and I just can't pick it.
Sodor coal loader next. Hello, Rusty. Sorry I can't stop. I'm loaded with fireworks.
That's weird. Thomas doesn't seem his usual self.
Gotta keep rolling or I'll be late. Wow, a little green bridge. I wonder if any nasty trolls live under it. You know what they say about trolls? Wow, some windy track. This is lots of fun. Hi, Toby. Sorry I can't stop. I'm loaded with fireworks.
Something strange about Thomas, but I just can't pick it.
I'll show Toby how to deal with these whistling woods. Nothing scary here apart from a toy based on a very weak episode. Anyway, it makes for some nice eye candy. Wow, this is such a bumpy ride. I don't think I'm on Sodor anymore. I hope the fireworks don't detonate. Someone needs to fix these tracks. Okay then, this must be the Shake Bridge. What did Percy say about this bridge that's so important? I don't know about Percy. He seems to worry too much about things that are not on his plate. Anyway, what could possibly go wrong on this bridge?
What a show, Thomas. Never knew you were a pyro guy. Now who's gonna clean up that big mess? Maybe it's time for a diesel to be number one. That's weird. I thought I heard fireworks. Oh no, Thomas, you've been blown to smithereens. I tried to warn him about the Shake Bridge, but in typical Thomas fashion, he knows best. Well, maybe now he's learned a lesson. You know, it must have been quite a show. I haven't seen destruction like this in a long time. Then again, Thomas was always good at pulling off the big spectacle. Thomas! You're alive! I can't believe my eyes! Wow, that's a party trick I'm gonna have to remember. For a moment there, I thought you were history.
Yes, Percy, I'm alive and well. I was swapped out and replaced by a cheap and nasty, stuttering clone.
But why, Thomas? I don't understand.
Percy, it's difficult to explain in this short video, remembering it's a toy review. Maybe it's time to be really careful. It seems someone's out to get us, no matter how useful we think we are.
Wow, Thomas, that was deep.
Hello and welcome to my Mega Thomas and Friends Trackmaster toy review. The Trackmaster series of Thomas toys is something I have really not covered in the past, and I've certainly had loads of Thomas fans ask me to do a really serious video about these toys. I'll do my best to look at these toys with fair and fresh eyes and not get caught up in history or pricing of these toys. I did purchase all these toys at post-Christmas sales, sometimes getting 40% off the retail price. And I have been noticing some of these playsets selling for extremely low prices in some retailers. And after this mass exposure to Thomas Trackmaster, I'm going to have to admit, I'm a bit of a fan. Let's kick off with a nice custom Thomas. We all like custom Thomases, don't we? Where he's set up to throw some jam around. Part of the magic to this Thomas is a custom piece of track which triggers his wagons to release the jam barrels. The wagon is cleverly pre-sprung and loaded with jam, ready for action. I found the artwork depicting the action may be slightly exaggerated, as my Thomas struggled to deploy his jam in the way the artwork depicts. Nevertheless, it's a stunning Thomas for my massive Thomas collection. So how do I rate this toy? Well, we all like a custom Thomas, that's for sure, and we all like a little bit of trick rolling stock. Probably the downfall here is it relies on a piece of specialised track to trigger the effect. And what's really interesting is the box artwork. I know there are some Thomas viewers out there who have eyes like hawks when it comes to detail. And for that reason, I will not have to even say what's missing here for you to see what's wrong. It's really nice to see that we're all human. It's pretty obvious that Trackmaster track is different to Tomy track. I have vast amounts of Tomy track, and as I don't have any of the Tomy to Trackmaster joiners, I feel like I'm starting from scratch. I'm sure there's lots of other people in this same predicament. Both track systems create the same radius in curves, but there's a really neat aspect to the Trackmaster track, and that's its ability to allow HOOO rolling stock to ride the inner rails. To me, this really shows this track has a trump card in cross playability. Not all your HOOO rolling stock is comfortable here, as its radius curves are fairly tight. Anything where there's a small distance between the wheels can ride the Trackmaster's inner rails with ease. To build your very own Trackmaster Thomas universe, you need to buy lots of accessories and playsets. Often these toys have crossover themes related to Thomas films and TV episodes. This is vastly different to the way Tomy did Thomas. I'm privileged to own a Tomy Ultimate Thomas set. Basically, it's a complete rail and road network of Thomas fantasies. It's also a massive playset. One day I should drag it out for a retro review so we can all be reminded of the good old days when a single playset purchase was all you ever needed. There are some fantastic sets of rolling stock. These are far nicer than the little poorly detailed trucks, which are often packed with motorised characters. A good example of this is the Thomas starter set. The best part is, with most of these packs, there's also some track, so your layout is ever expanding. Okay, let's look at the Rattle and Shake Coal Hopper, which features good old Rusty, or as my son calls him, Aw. And I think if you watch the episode Tuneful Toots, you'll understand why. It's actually really nice to see Rusty associated with an accessory. The key feature here is a coal hopper which is operated from Rusty's wheels, and after a few rattle and shakes, the coal is loaded into the truck. And what's a bit unusual is the cargo in this coal hopper is a slightly different size to the cargo that you may have found in the old Tomy sets. so unfortunately you can't swap out and put different cargo in the coal hopper. There's certainly no reverse engineering going on between Tomy and Trackmaster. Anyway, it's a fantastic little unit, and best of all, you get Rusty. Let's now look at the Sodor Search and Rescue Searchlight, which features, of all engines, Victor. It looks like he's escaped the steamworks. This accessory adds a rotating searchlight to your layout. The light requires 2 AAA batteries, and when it's turned on, you'll have to go and turn off all the lights to see the searchlight's effect. Considering it uses an LED, don't expect a big light show. Hopefully this LED will be easy on the batteries which power it. The lack of illumination is quite disappointing. The rotating lighthouse feature is powered by Victor's driving wheels, and overall, visually, it's a very impressive unit. Best of all, you get Victor as part of the deal. Now here's a cute little raise and lower drawbridge, which comes with Percy, who's actually looking a tad cross-eyed. Possibly it's best to let this toy do all the talking. It's a nice little green bridge. It comes with nice little green Percy, and I think it'd make a nice addition to anyone's Trackmaster playset. And while our minds are fixated on Percy, let's take a look at 2 Percys from 2 totally different eras. I know there are some people who could spend all day in heated discussion about what Mattel have done to the Tomy product. Maybe now's the time for the audience to look at these 2 models and tell me which one do you prefer. It's an argument that could easily swing both ways. Okay, let's look at Toby and the Whistling Woods, which is a complete track set. And of course, it features Toby. It's a very curious episode to base a playset around. Sure, it's about overcoming fear and learning it's never too old to ask for help, but to me Toby is a mismatch in this style of story. But hey, maybe you have your own thoughts on this. Anyway, it's a neat circuit set, the Whistling Woods are elevated, and it has some nice features. The falling tree is easily reset for hours of entertainment. It's a great playset if you're looking for something with height. Those trees are certainly tall timbers. Time for Arthur at the Copper Mine. This features a double loop track via 2 sets of points, a copper mine with a magic feature which fills up Arthur's lovely metal detailed truck with copper. This magic feature is triggered by the set of points hidden within the copper mine. The inclusion of Arthur in a playset is welcome. He's possibly a character many people would not buy as an individual purchase. And we're all tired of seeing things like Percy at the copper mine, Thomas at the copper mine. And anyway, Arthur's a fine looking engine indeed. And you know what? There's something really nice about this model of Arthur. And it's got something that a lot of the other Trackmaster models are missing, and it's that splash of white at the front. I've spoken about this in another video, and I've actually got a theory now that that splash of white is left off on some other models for a purpose. Of all the Tomy and Trackmaster Thomases I have, there's only one which has got a splash of white, which signals to me it's a pretty good looking Thomas. The mysteries to why these details are left off are mysteries. Maybe you have a theory on why this occurs? I'd love to hear it. Well, after that detail siding, let's get back to this set. I think it's a pretty good set. It would look fantastic in amongst your other playsets. You get a useful amount of track. You get a clever little feature in the copper mine. Arthur looks great, and so does his magical copper truck. And really, what else can I say? And now for the Shake Shake Bridge, which features Thomas. This set is a complete circuit which features Trackmaster track stylized in Misty Island mode. There's some cool bumpy track, And there's an elevated section of track which leads to the treacherous Shake Shake Bridge. Once Thomas starts to cross this bridge, he's up against falling timbers and rails which are set to knock him off balance. It's the sort of playset that you can't keep your eyes off. And considering it's a playset which sets up a fail, it's loads of fun to play with, due to the unpredictable nature of the way accidents happen on this playset. To ramp up the fun, just give something really useful for Thomas to do. How about the important job of delivering some fireworks wagons? But will Thomas be blown to smithereens if the Shake Shake Bridge has its way? And we'll also take some time to analyse the beauty in slow motion of what the bumpy track and Shake Shake Bridge does to Thomas and the train. Sure, this is a fantastic playset, but it fails to get absolute top marks for one very good reason. Let's take a look at the box artwork, looking at Thomas's expression. Sadly, the Thomas in this set has a happy face. If only there was a special face, as we see in other sets. That's what this set really needs. And I'm pretty sure everyone would agree with me on this point. Anyway, I rate this set as a must-have if you're a true Thomas fan, or you want some real adventure in your layout. The Shake Shake Bridge is certainly loads of fun.
Trackmaster, file wheel.
But Thomas, you have to go over the Shake Shake Bridge. Uh-oh.
In intro piece, I used a fake Thomas. It's not a licensed toy, and it gave nothing but trouble. So when you see Thomas struggling, it's because it's a faker. Ramming into a brick wall. stop, Thomas, before you cause havoc. Oh no! The very cheap and nasty slow motion cameras I use do not record sound. So enjoy some crazy pyro outtakes, which have all sorts of little problems going on, if you know where to look. Well, hopefully I didn't bore you to death with this toy review. This is possibly one of the most complex reviews that I've brought to YouTube, and I'm not going to embarrass myself and disclose how much time I spent piecing this video together. But what I have done is I have shot an extensive amount of footage which shows how this video was made. And I really want it to be seen as a tool to help other people how to make really good videos using really simple techniques. And I'm pretty sure by now you'd understand that I hate complex things. In making this video, I learned a lot about the TrackMaster system that I didn't know before. I've also got over my fear of getting into a new track system, and I'll have to admit I actually quite like the TrackMaster track. Thanks for your patience in waiting for this video to be uploaded. And I'm really sorry that I can't produce a video like this every week. It'd be absolutely impossible to do. And as always, if you've lasted this long in this video, I thank you for your time. And hopefully I've got some people who haven't got into TrackMaster to possibly think about getting into it. Okay, that's it. Bye for now.